Alexa, set a timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, starting now. By the way, it's Black Friday week.
Alexa,
To shop
stop.
deals.
God. Alexa promoting Black Friday. Cheeky bitch.
I don't know that.
Alexa,
Yeah.
you're a cheeky bitch.
Chicky bitch. Chicken
Yeah.
bitches.
They are those cheeky bitches. Anyway, we are those cheeky bitches this week. Welcome, bloody welcome. We're just having coffee and some lovely Viennese biscuits.
You baked those, didn't you, with your
Yes.
fair hands?
Well, no, seeing as we're not able to use the oven, what I did was put the dough between my thighs for 4 hours and they cooked to perfection.
I'm surprised they were that hot between your thighs. Everything's cold down there at the moment. Yeah. God.
I don't think we should be giving our personal details away on YouTube.
No, when you cuddle up in bed, you're like frozen. You know, you suck the heat out of me.
That's what you're there for.
Yeah, I'm a big teddy bear hot water bottle.
Yeah, duh. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy this chocolate swirl, which kind of looks slightly like a very neat fake dog poo.
Yeah, I thought that. I was thinking that. Is that nice?
Melt in the mouth.
I think those are nicer than those. Because they've got cream in them.
Oh, I love the
white
cream
one.
filled
I don't
ones.
like those. They're too sweet. Yeah.
These were a gift from a client at work for making her feel so welcome each time she came for her appointments, and she's finished them now, so she bought me a gift.
Aww. Do you have to register the gifts like MPs are supposed to do but don't? Viennese swirls, £2.50.
Well,
Something like that.
my previous manager would have said, that's a taxable benefit, you're not allowed to accept it.
Really?
Yeah.
Honestly.
We do accept gifts, but I mean, box of chocolates, some biscuits, please. That's not going to affect a fact.
A fact?
That's not going to affect my tax.
And is that a fact, that it won't affect your tax?
Anyway, let's get on with the show.
Yum.
Welcome.
Don't you find those a bit too sweet?
No, I find I want to rub them all over my body.
You get crumbs everywhere
I don't
then.
know why I said that, but hey. Anyway, welcome to the show this week. It's called
Sunday Chat!
Or Richard Eats Biscuits.
Yeah, biscuit chat maybe. Yeah.
Just Richard Eats Biscuits for an hour.
I think that would do quite well. Maybe you could do that.
Maybe I could. Well, I could.
Well, you could.
Oh, quite easily.
I do know somebody who regularly admits to eating a whole pack of digestive biscuits, the long packs, not the short ones. That's not very healthy,
The
is
short packs.
it? Yeah, you know, you get short packs of digestive
Do you?
biscuits.
What's the point?
Because you're being frugal
That's just a
and
small,
healthy.
That's just a small snackette,
Right, yeah.
isn't it, really? Anyway, thank you for tuning in. If you're new to our channel, then,
Sorry.
as usual,
Do you remember those metre-long Toblerone you used to be able to get at...
family-sized Toblerone. Family size. That's just a small Toblerone as far as I'm concerned, really.
Oh, dearie me.
I could demolish one of those quite easily and still not feel sick.
What is it? Chocolate and nougat, isn't it? Toblerone. Yeah.
And
Didn't they put
almonds. Hasn't it got
Almonds?
almonds in it?
Didn't they do one with raisins or something in it at one point?
I don't remember
I've got a
that.
feeling they
Fruit
did.
and not Toblerone. My God, that's heaven.
Oh, dearie me.
Anyway, better get the book out, hadn't I, and make a start
Yeah,
of
we
this
better
show.
start. We are talking a little bit about chocolate a bit later on with some
we?
writing. Yeah, some
Oh,
writing.
eh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah,
No, that item on the agenda.
yeah. Anyway, yeah. Weather.
What's it been like, Paul? Tell the viewers.
It's been... Well, actually, it's gloriously sunny. But
You
it's
can
cold.
probably see in the hallway But the whole rear of the house is illuminated this morning with gorgeous autumn sunshine.
And in the sun, well, actually, in the sun at the beginning of the week, it was rather warm.
Yeah.
In the sun now, the temperature has dipped over the last few days, and it's quite cool. But it's still lovely in the sun. When you're not in the sun, it's cold. It really is. And my hands, I was at my desk yesterday, and my hands were getting cold.
It's not that cold.
Oh, it's about 7-8 degrees at the moment.
That's nothing to you, is it, over the pond?
Well, no.
Some people are having snow. Look at Jim, the lake effect gardener. You can follow Jim here. Look at him. They've had snow.
I know.
In Buffalo. Snow in Buffalo.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work that.
That could be a song.
It could be. It most probably is a song, actually.
There's been snow in Buffalo. There we are.
What's the next
line?
line?
It is now, and there's nowhere to go.
But I'm sure they
When
have.
there's snow in Buffalo.
Yeah, I think we get the
I
refrain.
think that's a hit. Super top 10 hit. I'll be doing more of my number one hits in subsequent episodes.
Marvellous. Well, I look forward to that on a weekly basis.
I think everybody's looking forward to that, Paul.
Is that replacing, what was it, the word one? What was the word one? What word is it this week?
What word one?
We did the word one where I had to guess a word.
Guess the word? What? What are you talking about? I don't know. We've slipped into a parallel universe.
Yeah, we're
What
talking about
word
that
one?
a bit later on as
What
well.
word one what?
You know, the word one used to give me a word, and I had to to guess what it meant.
I honestly
You must.
don't know what you're talking about.
We used to do it as a segment.
Do you mean word of the week?
Word of the week.
What word?
Yeah. What word?
What
That
word?
was it. What word?
I didn't sing that, did I?
Well, no, but is that going to replace that? That's what I'm saying. Oh dear.
Richard's song segment. Look, we need to get back on track because
Yeah, we
people are
do.
switching off. I
Yeah.
can see.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.
Bye. Bye. I've got a new scarf. What? That's my new segment. Every week I'm going to show you my new... Now this is my new scarf that I'm wearing this week, which was knitted for me by hand. Well, I'm sure she used her hands, not her feet. By Lady Tittington Smythe. Look at the detail. Can you see the detail? I just think it's unbelievable. I can't believe that people can actually knit things like that. Isn't it unbelievable? Because I would have just given up.
But
You know,
it's
how
different
do you
types of
do
stitches,
it?
isn't it?
It's just, and I love it. It's wool. It's beautiful, soft, high quality wool. So I'm loving it, but I'm a bit warm now after that coffee. Whoa! Yeah. Well, no, I am. I've got a bit of a sweat on now. That's ideal.
I think I'm just going to pop to the plot and just do stuff down there. I'll leave it to you this week, okay? Yeah.
Anywho, which originates in Scotland, apparently.
I read it was Ireland.
I read it was Scotland.
No, I read it was...
Because it's anyhow.
Ireland.
Anyhow. It's anywho.
Anywho.
There you go. So yes, it is colder and breezier this week.
It is, yeah.
But sunny today.
Yeah.
Autumn is in full swing, and there are plenty of leaves dropping to the floor, creating a mushy layer
Yes.
that trips up people with disabilities, or
Or
perhaps
not.
older people, or people of complete and utter full health. Did something happen to the screen then?
I don't know. Was
Are
it
we
a
still
ghost came
recording?
across? Yes, it's still recording.
I don't
yeah.
know, maybe it was my eyes.
Yes, I went on a bit of a walkabout this week.
Yes,
and
you did.
I went down the road, and it was absolutely, the pavements were covered in leaves, and really slippy leaves. I had to walk in the road. It was so covered. But it was really bizarre because the street before was completely devoid of leaf. The street after was completely devoid of leaf. So I just think that road had not been swept. And you were saying that there's one here that
There are
hasn't.
several roads that the council has neglected to sweep the pavements because, as we say, the leaves are no longer crisp and dry.
No.
That's cooking oil, isn't it? Remember
But they
that
are quite slippy, aren't
spry, crisp and dry.
I
This
do
is not
remember
a paid
that.
promotion. Anyway,
they? I wonder if you can still guess it.
I don't know, but she used to tip the chips out onto a paper towel to show how crisp and dry it was.
That's true. Yeah. There'll be a whole load of air fryer things people saying now.
Yeah, you don't need to use much oil in an air fryer,
No, you
apparently.
don't,
But
apparently.
people are eating more foods that aren't very good for them.
So
That's
actually,
the problem.
they're eating more fat than they were before.
Yeah.
Oh.
So be aware of that, people, when you reach for the air fryer to do a few chips.
Yeah, because it's so easy,
But the
isn't it?
thing
When
is,
you go, oh,
that's it, isn't it, Paul?
what, Richard? What is it?
It's so easy. I'm agreeing with you. That's the thing. If we had an air fryer, we'd be like, oh, chips tonight again. We would.
We would, yeah. We go, oh yeah, oh we'll just do some, yeah.
So, Paul, that brings us neatly on to our weight loss journey. How are we doing? I've not weighed myself.
I'm sort of plateaued.
I think I'm plateaued as well.
I'm plateaued at 17.5 at the moment.
Oh, I've not weighed myself. I don't know what I'm plateauing at.
No,
But I feel as though I've not put anything on.
I feel as though I haven't. I feel as though This is odd because I always feel in the weight loss journey that one has, that you do sort of plateau, but you feel that the fat sort of moves around your body a bit, and I don't. Every single time, because there's many times I've been on a food reduction plan, let's say, rather than the other word. I have felt that this sort of, I feel up here, I feel these have got a bit larger and my tummy's got a bit smaller.
I don't think that happens.
I know, but it feels as though it
Because
does.
if it did, I mean, it would be quite handy, wouldn't it? If you
It'd
could
be
just
like-
wish the fat around.
You could, yeah. In certain areas where you might want a extra inch or two. But so I think we've plateaued
Move
a bit.
on now.
But we're eating healthily, so that's good. I need to up my exercise, and I do use the word need correctly in that case.
Anyway, let's move on to the working week this week. It's been quite an interesting working week for me. There's a little bit of news. Oh yeah. So I was called in yesterday, which was Thursday, on my day off, to cover a colleague who is my counterpart, who shares the job with me, to be told that she's moving on to another role, and I have been asked whether I will revert back, albeit temporarily, for a few months to full-time work. And I've said yes, because we need the money. We need the money. So there's going to be a few changes. The major change in terms of videos is that I'm not going to be able to have time to do a new season of Cheap, Tasty and Filling, I'm afraid. I know some of you will be disappointed by that, but I'm just not going to be able to fit it in. I've done planning already, as I've told you before. I've already written the notes and looked at recipe ideas, but I've not had chance to start rolling it out. And I'm not going to get a chance because my boss has asked me to start working full-time as of next week. So I'm going to take that opportunity because I can't turn that money down. With our combined income, not to get too personal about income, our combined income plus what we earn on YouTube kind of isn't enough at the moment. So we've got to grab any opportunity to earn a few extra pennies.
Yeah.
So that will help, especially over the winter period. That's why I've agreed to it. So it's going to mean a bit of a change because, as you know, Thursdays very often are our days out when the weather is good.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be able to do our winter walks. We'll probably have to get them in on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
If we wish to do that.
And it also means that recording... Alexa, please stop. Recording this on a Friday morning, which we normally do to give us more time at the weekend, will have to happen on a Saturday.
Or we do it on a Friday evening.
Or we do it on a Friday evening.
Yeah.
But then we've got all the light issues, and because you like doing it with daylight, don't you?
Well, not necessarily. We can compensate for that.
We can compensate for that, apparently.
We can.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's going to mean a bit of adjusting. But I've kind of said to my boss, well, I would like some increased flexibility in that, in doing full-time hours, in that if we have, say, a quiet Friday afternoon, can they agree to me working from home? Because very often at work we don't have appointments on a Friday afternoon. So
nobody needs to physically be there to sign people in, sign them out,
it's
that
just
type
a
of
phone call situation, taking messages and dealing with the phone calls, which I can actually do from home because, you know, I have a laptop and all of that, and a work mobile that the calls come through on. So, and it's silly things really. For example, doing the washing. So I have sort of this routine where I do our washing on a Wednesday afternoon, sometimes on a Thursday. I know that sounds silly, but it's kind of like I don't have to cram it all into the weekend, you know. And also it means, especially during winter, that we've got dry clothes put away, you know, ready for wear for the new working week, you know. So I'm going to have to reorganise myself in terms of housework and stuff like that.
Maybe you could train me to do the washing.
Paul, you used to do the washing, but every time you did, there would be odd socks, you'd put lights in with darks, stuff like that. So I don't want... You would also not put things out properly, you wouldn't pull them to shape, so things would look as though they'd been fried, basically. So no, I'd rather you didn't. Thank you very much for the offer.
I'll just make sure you have
It's
a lovely meal on the table at the end of the day.
That's all you need to do.
And I'll smile.
Anyway. So yeah, change, but welcome change, I think. My job's not as stressful as it used to be. So, you know, very often when I was full-time, I'd get to Tuesday evening and feel as though I'd been through the ringer already. Whereas that was due to the very, very busy switchboard that we had. But during the pandemic, a lot of outreach occurred from the social work and health team. So that outreach has kind of continued, and people very often get in touch with their clinicians or social workers directly. So my job has changed into more of an admin role. So, you know, it's easier to deal with in terms of that, which is good. So
good.
Hopefully I won't feel too much of a strain going to full time. And, you know, it's local. I don't have a commute. There are many positives in that. So that's good. Good. What's next, Paul?
I don't know. You've got the list.
Paul, we wanted to talk about your writing.
Oh, right. Yes. So I posted another piece on coffee for coffee supporters and members. And that is again part of the course that I am doing, or one of the courses that I'm doing at the moment in writing. And you thought it was a little bit wordy, didn't you? He thought it was a little bit wordy. But what he did do, because it starts with the premise of you had to write less than 500 words on something that you saw in a newspaper, in a book, or on TV. And I saw something and I wrote this in 45 minutes, and I give myself a time limit. And he read the first paragraph and then skipped to the end.
Well, that's what I do. That's what I do with everything I read.
I find that fascinating.
I read the beginning and think, oh, these people seem really nice. I really like the hero. I hope they don't die in the end. Let me find out. So I skip to the end to find out if they die or if everything just goes tits up. Not with everything, but I did with your story. And then I was delightfully surprised. So I kind of went back a bit. Yeah.
So yes, that's...
I know I'm weird. Sorry.
You are weird. Yeah. I think we've got a friend who does that as well down the road. I think she does similar with a book.
Doesn't detract from my enjoyment. It's like if I know... I won't watch films that I know what the ending is. So, Titanic. I don't want to know. I'm not interested. Boat goes down. The ship sinks. If you haven't seen it already, I'm sorry about the spoiler. What did you think was going to happen? Everybody was going to survive?
But you've got A Night to Remember, haven't you? Which
can't watch
is
that film.
Such a fantastic film. And it's so good that each time you want Titanic not to sink.
But it's an historical novel.
It's an historical
novel, not a novel.
No, it's not a novel, it's a film.
It's historical fact.
Yeah.
As opposed to Rear Window, the movie, which each time I think she's going to get killed.
Yeah.
Sorry if you've not...
Well, you don't know who you're talking about because there's several she's in it.
Spoiler alert!
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah, and, but that's the beauty of the film. Titanic is factual. Yeah. Everybody knows that.
Rear Window is such a great film. So there was that. And also, back on Halloween, Richard posted on PV...
Planet Vegetaria, that's a Facebook group by Richard and Paul. Richard and Paul since 2017, that's contractual, by the way.
A photo of a stranger at the gate.
Yes, very cryptically. Some people didn't know what to make of it.
Yeah, it was one of those...
Some people said, oh dear, is that somebody at your gate? Call the police.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, there we are.
And many of you ignored it.
So...
There was a reason behind the post.
I have written a piece, a short story called A Stranger at the Gate. And we're going to be sharing that on Planet Vegetaria.
I hope it's good.
Well, I think it's...
Now you've said it.
I think it's okay.
There's no going back.
No. It's going to be posted. I did actually I wrote it whilst we were with the Tittington Smythes in Wales. And I finished it off yesterday because I sort of, in what happened at the beginning of November with all it being so busy, I just sort of forgot about it. But yeah, I got on and did it yesterday.
Good.
So that will be up on PV soon with the original photo.
And if you're not a member of Planet Vegetaria yet, where have you been? Join us. Join us.
And I'm halfway through my next piece for a Guernsey Gardener in London as well. And I've also been asked by a magazine to submit a number of the Guernsey Gardener in London pieces, in fact all of them, so that they can have a read of them because they're looking at further contributors to the magazine.
Is it Vogue?
That would be good. It's not Vogue, no. It's not.
What magazine? Oh, you can't say at the moment. Oh, Paul, this is exciting news.
Well, who knows? Who knows?
My little writer. It's like My Little Pony. Okay, so that's good. So, now it's time to talk about cost of living crisis. So, still in the cost of living crisis. Isn't that lovely? Everybody's making do.
And we have been using the microwave, the combi oven.
Richard and Paul's Microwave Adventures. That could be a new series.
It could be. Who knows?
Whether we can shoehorn that in at some point is another matter.
It's quite interesting because, of course, we've grown up with gas and, traditional ovens. And even though our microwave, which is a combination microwave and oven, we've had it for, 10 years, something like that. We've only ever used it as a microwave.
Well, no, that's a lie. That's a lie.
I'm lying.
I did grill something in it at one point. Oh my God, I've just realised.
Is that why you broke it?
Broke it?
Is that why the light doesn't work anymore?
No. Why would that be the
Anyway,
case?
you were grilling.
I just thought we could have cheese on toast.
We could have cheese on toast if it were not for our waistlines.
Yeah. Anyway, so I had tried it before, but not properly. What did we cook, Paul? What did you cook?
I cooked a baked potato.
2 baked potatoes.
2 baked potatoes. 2 quite large baked potatoes.
Using
a
combination de le microwave et la forno.
Exactly, using a combination of the microwave on low power and the heat of the smaller oven.
And we discovered that the metal racks that we were like, oh, can you put metal in the microwave? They're specially designed racks, aren't they, Paul?
So the racks that came with the combination oven could actually be used with the combination oven.
With microwaves.
And it worked. I think if we had had the heat a little bit higher, they would have got even more crispy. They when you do a baked potato in the microwave, it goes quite soft. We like them crispy.
Well, I don't mind them soft.
I like them crispy on the outside, soft on the inside. So I think I might next time just put the heat up a bit for maybe 10 minutes to just crisp up the outside a bit more. But we then looked at the cost the following day of the full hour that had been cooking, even though it wasn't cooking it was cooking for 30 minutes. Because our energy is done in an hour, it said it cost between 27 and 37p. So I thought that was quite good because I think it would have been about 80p in the oven.
Well, you couldn't.
In the big oven.
You couldn't buy a takeaway baked potato for that price, could you,
couldn't.
Paul?
No. So that was quite good.
What else did we do?
We did some naughty vegan sausage rolls as well.
Naughty vegan.
And that was just using the forced air function, which is the heat, the oven function. And
they were okay.
They were okay. Yeah, I mean, they
weren't as brown.
No, they weren't as browned. I think that was taking longer. Whether the heat in the oven is actually as accurate as the heat in our big oven, I'm not sure. But yeah, they were edible. They were flaky, but they weren't as puffed up as normal, nor as brown as normal.
Yeah.
So we've got another 2, so we'll give those another go in a couple of weeks. But it's just sort of experimenting with what works and what doesn't, and understanding a combi oven. And it's surprising that there's so little cookery information about combi ovens.
Combi microwaves.
Combi microwaves. Well, they're combi microwaves. So yeah, we're experimenting. We'll see how it goes. But baked potatoes we'll definitely do again.
Good. Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. Lovely. Anything else on the cost of living?
No, I don't think so. No.
Good. So,
I think we did get our bill. We got our bill last week and it was lower than I had expected, which was good.
And we are continuing to enjoy a nice open fire. We had a lovely one last night. The other night, after all, because I'd set a fire, because I like to, once the ashes are cool, so that's maybe a day or so, I like to clear it out, set a new fire, ready for the next time we want one. I'd done that and it had rained. And those of you who have open flues will know that occasionally a little bit of rain comes down the chimney. So that fire took quite a long time to light, to get it going and get hot. Whereas the one that we had last night got hot quite quickly.
Yeah.
And we thoroughly enjoyed it. And when we do an open fire, we turn the heating off.
Yeah.
We don't heat the rest of the house. We just heat this room with the fire. Deliciously warm.
It was lovely. It was lovely.
Yeah, fabulous. So we're still enjoying that. Plenty of coal left. Need to stock up on a few other bits and pieces like firelighters. I'm using some chips of wax, old candle wax, to help start the fire, which is quite good. Yeah, so that's all good on that side of things. Super duper. Paul, you got some new boots, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do mention this in a week at the plot, but I've got some new boots because it was suggested by Lord Tittington Smythe, in fact, that I try rigger boots. And I have bought a pair of rigger boots. So you may remember my trainers that I've been using, my walking boots that I've been using, they came apart. So I got the money back from those. And an additional £8.50 bought these rigger boots. And even though I've only been wearing them for a few days, I'm quite impressed by them because they've got good support on the heel, they're really warm and they feel quite tough and they're waterproof. So that is all good. We'll see how they go. But what I was even looking for rigger boots, the choices of which ones you can go for.
Choices.
You know, we have too much choice nowadays.
Alexa, please stop.
Yeah, there's just too much choice, and you look at something and there's like 100 options, and then of course you start reading the reviews, and actually just buying something takes 10 times longer than it used to. You know, you used to be able to go into a shop and say, I want a pair of size 10 Wellingtons or something, and it would be like, there they are, you know. Now you have such a choice, and I think there's just too much choice. I think that's why I love supermarkets like Lidl, because actually you don't have those choices. You know, you don't have the choices between buying between 5 or 6 different brands of sausages. You get those or you get those, that's it, you know.
Well, another example is I need to buy a new tripod because the little windy handle that brings up the central column to give you extra height snapped off yesterday. And we've had this tripod for a while. I mean, they're not super expensive, but I know the minute I look, I'm going to be bombarded with a bewildering array of different tripods. And, you know, clearly, I mean, this is what? The second tripod like this that's broken?
Yeah.
So I know not to look at this brand again.
Well, I've had, because I do a lot of filming on the tripod at the plot, you know, I film maybe 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a week on the tripod. I've gone through quite a few tripods, and this one seems to be pretty sturdy compared to the other ones that I've had.
Yeah, but I find it's noisy, it's creaky, you know, that's the thing that is annoying. Say, for example, you're filming something and you're talking to the camera. If you move...
Oh, excuse us.
No.
I turned my phone off before we started
I do
filming.
apologise. Yeah, what were you saying, Paul? Tripods.
Tripods.
Well, it's... And if you try and do a sort of sweeping shot, say, of a landscape, it creaks. So you don't want that if you're also trying to capture the sound of the environment. So, yeah. Hey-ho. Bewildering choice. Choice paralysis.
Choice paralysis. First world problems.
Yeah, exactly. So, Paul, it's final. final segment now.
What have we watched
Oh,
this
that's
week?
your shirt. I thought
Yes,
it was...
Can you leave my shirt alone?
What have we watched on television this week, Paul? What have we watched?
We haven't watched the second part of Enola Holmes, or not the second part, but we only watched
Second
the
half.
first half,
No.
which is telling. We have continued with What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, of course. Naturally.
Just love it.
Super duper.
Yeah.
Nadia's opened her club.
She has.
And
I mean, it is laugh out loud. For me, it's laugh out loud, and you chuckle away, don't you? So yeah,
I very rarely laugh out loud at things.
That's
I laugh
why-
inside.
You laugh inside,
I'm laughing now.
which is why he stayed looking 39.
I'm hysterically laughing now.
There we are, right. What else have we watched? We've watched talking about parallel universes, we watched The Sky at Night.
They talked about parallel universes, didn't they?
They did.
Let's not talk about parallel universes because it's quite difficult to explain the concept.
It is, but it's a very interesting concept, and it's one that I quite subscribe to. Really.
Well, I think it's very difficult to grasp the fact that each time you make a decision, a new universe is created.
From the decision you didn't make, basically. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very, very interesting. And it was quite an interesting Sky at Night. It was a bit funky. They did a few things a bit differently.
I think they've got a new young producer involved who wants to try out new things.
I think they have. And talking about parallel universes, we also watched The Matrix. So, it's obviously a old film now. Was it pre-2000 even?
I have no idea when it was.
I mean...
I remember watching it and falling asleep and waking up.
Which is what you did this time as well.
And thinking, what the hell is going on?
That's exactly what you did. You fell asleep. We watched 2 back-to-back ones, and you fell asleep in the first and woke up in the second. And that was even more confusing.
I still kind of grapple with the concept of
Yeah.
the Matrix, but I don't. I do understand it, but, Yeah, I mean, it was groundbreaking, but I do find it's a bit disconcerting watching it because it's green.
Well, it is, yeah. I mean,
It's tinged
that's
with green.
Yeah.
The whole thing, apart from when they're in the craft
Yeah.
that flies around the Matrix.
But
Or
anyway,
the non-Matrix.
non-Matrix.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really. I enjoyed it, and we did start watching the new one a couple of weeks ago,
Did
I
we?
think, and I think we turned
Did
off.
I fall asleep?
I think we both fell asleep.
Probably.
Maybe need to go back to that.
Yeah, I'd like to.
And then we watched also on Prime a series called 11/22/63.
Do you know that date? The Americans will.
Many Americans will. So that's the day that JFK was shot and murdered.
Assassinated is the word.
It
There's
is.
one word for that.
Yes, why use one when you can use 7? So we watched that. It's got James Franco. I think it's a really good cast, interesting premise, time travel, and I really enjoyed it.
Let's just briefly say this is based on the Stephen King novel of the same name,
which we haven't read.
Which I haven't read, but it is about the concept of what would happen if you could go back in time and prevent JFK from being assassinated. Basically, there is a gentleman who owns a diner, and for some unknown reason that we never discover why or how, in his pantry is a time warp, a time slip portal, which takes you back to a specific time. You can come back through the portal and it will bring you back to your reality 2 minutes later. No matter how long you spend in 1958, which is where it takes you to, When you come back, it's 2 minutes later in your reality.
Isn't it 1960 it takes you back to?
I thought it was 1958, wasn't it? Or maybe it's 1958 in the book because I was reading about the book. But anyway, it always restarts when you go back through the portal. So, as you can imagine, things happen because the timeline gets altered. It's all about this adventure to try and stop JFK from being assassinated. And yeah, it's quite fascinating, it's quite engaging. It certainly kept me awake most of the time.
Yeah, it did.
And which is good because that shows something is engaging. James Franco is easy on the eye, frankly.
Yeah. But he's also he's also an honest actor. I
think
I
he's
get
good.
the characters. I get his characters.
I think he's good because he has one of those faces that can look really handsome but really ugly as well. You know, depending on the angle. But
I think the whole cast was really good. Cast really, really well.
Yeah.
And there's a character in there, Miss Mimi, who is just adorable.
It's also produced really well because it really does have an authentic feel. And I love the first time he goes through the portal. I love that scene with the colours, with the pink car that goes past. It kind of looks super real, and just gives you a sensation of being in the 50s, but also realising how colourful the 50s was.
How vibrant in so many ways.
In terms of styling, in terms of fashion. Because, of course, we tend to think very often of the past as being black and white.
And
in terms of movies. But, you know, I think the 50s and the 60s were quite a vibrant time. Post-war era. People trying out new fashion, new styles, new colours, you know, all of
new
this.
Music.
New music, yeah, exactly. It was the era of the teenager, wasn't it?
I do want to go back and watch the first jump to see the pink car as it goes by.
There are also plenty of Easter eggs to be had, and if you're not sure what we mean by that, Easter eggs are hidden messages in films or TV shows that the producers and directors put in that reference other things, other shows. There were a lot of Stephen King Easter eggs in this one. I spotted a couple. So, you know, it gives that feeling of it being multi-layered. But what I was going back to this scene when he first goes through the portal, I think with today's filming technology, i.e. 4K and high definition, all of that, directors and producers are able to give this super real feel to scenes now, which of course, you know, go back 30, 40 years and things don't look as crisp very often, especially TV shows or TV series. Films, of course, should be super sharp to a certain extent if they were filmed on good cameras with good lenses. But a lot of old TV shows very often look sort of substandard.
Yeah.
But this has a very fresh feel to it when you see that scene. But it's an really interesting series. It's also filled with moments of horror.
And peril.
Which are typically Stephen King. Very often sort of drawn out moments of horror. If you're a Stephen King fan, you'll know what I mean by that. He tends to sort of twist the knife a little bit at certain points. But yeah, really, really good show. It's old now. I mean, it's a good few years old, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not sure if there was ever. I'm not sure if there was ever a second series, but the first series, I've sort of quite happy. Well, it does say series 1 when you watch it.
Well, all of them that only have one series say season 1.
I think you'll find that it'll say limited series if it was only made to
It does
be made.
now, but this was made a good few years
Yeah,
ago.
I know. But
Argumentative Paul.
what was I going to say?
Did I
No,
stop
I can't
you?
remember
Oh,
now.
what a shame.
Yeah, it was a shame because it was quite.
Paul, come on.
Can't remember.
Well,
No, I can't remember.
Oh, well.
Ah! Moving on.
We also watched Question Time, this week's Question Time, which is a UK show which basically takes a panel of people, usually including
Several MPs.
and we just like to watch it so we can watch the Conservative MPs squirm.
Yeah, because they are. I mean, the buzzwords at the moment for any Conservative MP is international and global, because what they are really trying to get us to believe is that the crisis that we're experiencing in the UK at the moment is one which is global and international and not basically just British born. But we know that even though there are major global instances that are compounding what we're experiencing at the moment, that actually Brexit and all of that has really, really done us in. So yeah, it's really interesting to watch Conservative MPs at the moment, because I guarantee if you're watching them, they'll be talking about international and global.
Yeah, alright, you've just said that twice.
Yeah, I know, I was just saying it a third time. International and global. So there we are. Yeah.
But I do notice the one thing that they have clearly been told to stop saying is, Alexa, honestly, the time's just slipping by today. Stop. They've stopped saying, let's be clear on this.
Yeah.
They've been. I'm quite sure they've been told stop saying that, because you couldn't get away from a politician saying, "Let me be clear on this."
Yeah.
Because actually, whenever a sentence came after that, you can guarantee that it was clear as mud.
But it's one of those holding. It's one of those holding
Really?
phrases.
Oh.
Because when you're talking, people get trained to have holding phrases. So something like, let's be clear about this, is a holding phrase. Let's be clear about this gives you 4 seconds to think about what you're going to say next. And there's a whole host of holding phrases that people are taught.
But I think you'll find also, Paul, it was born of the fact that they were told that they were not being clear on
Oh no,
things at one
absolutely,
point.
absolutely.
And therefore they all started saying, because they'd been coached to say it, make sure you say, let's be clear on this first.
Yeah, but
because A, that will give you time.
Yeah.
And B, you'll reassure people that you know what you're talking about. And of course that proved to be not the case.
Yeah.
And still proves not to be the case with most politicians. Especially the Conservatives, because they're just full of hot air.
And the other buzzword that you'll hear Conservatives saying at the moment is compassion or compassionate, talking about a compassion or compassionate government, which of course is again trying to convince you that they are being this way, when really it's not true.
Paul, I think we've been going on for far too long
I think
now.
we have.
And I think everybody's probably switched off.
Really? I don't think so.
No.
No.
Okay, we're saying goodbye now, and we'll see you very soon
Yeah,
for
we
more
will.
fun and frolics with Richard and Paul.
Yeah, next week. But it won't be recorded on a Friday. Or will it?
Or
Friday
will
evening.
it?
Yeah.
You know what I think I might do as well?
What might you do as well?
And let's be clear about this.
Are you going to be compassionate and clear about it?
Let's be clear about this. I think I might do a live show.
Really? On the
Yeah.
Friday?
I might do a little live show. Do you want a live show or not?
Can
Let
I
us
cook
know.
while you do that?
Let us know in the comments below. Right, that's it. Goodbye. Take care.
All
Yeah.
of those things.
And thank you. Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.